Well, let me start out by saying that we get lumped into this category of ratings and review platforms because, for obvious reasons, the most public aspect of what we do is this agent profile, which shows
Sure.
performance ratings and customer testimonials. This did not exist when the software launched in Australia. It did not exist when we launched it in the United States in January of 2012, and really only came into existence at the request of some of our first broker clients. They came
Oh,
back to us,
wow.
they came back to us and said, "Listen, we're getting great feedback. We're getting great return rates. We know what to do with the data in the back end of the broker dashboard, but we really believe that our agents need a win here.
Hmm.
They need a way to show that these ratings and testimonials are being collected by an independent third party." And so, since in our world, this data that we're collecting doesn't belong to us; it belongs to you. We wanted to
Sure.
make certain that we built a public facing agent profile in a way that was consistent with that. And so we built these pages on the back of the most open way of syndicating information available, and that's an RSS feed. So every
Okay.
single agent on our platform has their own individual RSS feed, which acts as our syndication source. This page is really just an indication of what you can do with that data, and agents ultimately are in control over how this data gets displayed. So, for example, Tanya, who is with Live Real Estate in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, she chooses to show her ratings as percentages, and she chooses to show what we call detailed ratings. We turned on detailed rating
Okay.
based upon updated integrations with Realtor.com and HAR.com in Houston, Texas. So the, the ability to show the rating that's associated with every returned survey, regardless of whether or not it comes with a testimonial, is up to the agent, but is required for syndicating to Realtor.com and to HAR.com because they want to
Okay.
ensure that everything's coming. But agents have the ability to choose to only show their aggregate rating and their customer testimonials if they wish.
Okay.
And so the end game for us is we want to collect as much information as possible from the consumer at the close of a transaction. We believe you get one
Sure.
opportunity to do that, and sending them off to Zillow or some other place where you don't get the most feedback you can doesn't make a whole lot of sense to us. Ultimately,
Right. It's difficult to measure.
absolutely. You don't get the feedback that you really need on such a complex transaction. And so
Hmm.
our surveys are long. We don't apologize for it. We collect 47 data points from sellers and 39 data points from buyers, and our return rates are phenomenal. And I think it's not just a testament to sort of the process that we go through in collecting that information, but it's also a testament to how much consumers want to share about the most
Sure.
important transaction that they engage in their lives. And so we have a return rate over 50% across the board on average, and some of our best brokers obviously return much higher returns than that. 87%
Hmm.
of people who start our surveys finish them. And so this really isn't about the length of the survey. This is about
Right.
preparing the client for the fact that you're going to get a survey at the close of a transaction. And again, the best practice is to provide agents with the tools necessary to ensure that their client understands that their feedback is important. So we think
Hmm.
we do an amazing job of collecting this data. And as a result, we're able to deliver this in a format that allows brokers and agents to utilize this data anywhere that this third party is willing to accept it. And so brokers are able to utilize this RSS feed to build out their own client ratings and testimonials on agent profile pages, utilizing whatever design they see fit. We do not prescribe the look and feel of the data. We believe that the agent and broker brand and the brands of the third parties that are integrating with us should be dominant, and that you should have the ability to display this data in any way you see fit. So we do this again through the RSS feed. We also, and luckily Live also has a WordPress platform that they utilize. We also have a WordPress plugin that flows in these ratings as well, and it obviously takes on the look and feel of that site. But every single brand and even every single broker has the ability to style this data in any way they see fit. We don't even require a link back to our site. because it's your data. Our job is to collect it and to make it as easy to syndicate as possible. So everyone has the ability to display this data in the way they see fit, and it makes it really, really easy for third parties like Altos Research to build in client testimonials onto the places where the consumer is likely to interface with the agent prior to making a decision about using them. And so these weekly newsletters from Altos, Cloud CMA, Toolkit CMA, and you'll notice that the design is up to the third party. Our job is simply to provide this data. And apps like Spacio Pro, which is an open house app, they build this data in a natural way so that it displays consistently with the product, but honors the rules, basically, of how the agent chooses to display their data. Does that make sense?
Sure. It does. It makes perfect sense.
So the end game for us is we want this data to be in as many places as possible. We don't want to be the barrier. And building this as an RSS feed, even everybody comes to us and they say, do you have an API to get to this data? You don't need an API. It's an open syndication. Anyone who wants to can come and build an integration without even asking us. We've had several clients build integrations into their sites. They go to our GitHub resource and they look at all the tools that are available in an open source format, and they simply build it themselves. So we're not in the business of hoarding the data that we collect on behalf of our clients. And we even do this to the extent that we've always had an office level RSS feed. And the office level RSS feed basically allows all of the ratings to be averaged across all of the agents in that office. And we didn't used to make this public. It was always private because we always believed that the best place for that to live was on the broker's website. But
Sure.
several clients like Liv came back to us and said, listen, we're having a hard time getting our web developer to build these pages for us. Can you simply make a public facing page? So you can turn on the public facing aspect of a broker profile page, and which flows in all of the testimonials from the agents and shows the overall rating of the office. This is an example of how we think it should work, however. We think that the broker should control this data and make it available to the consumer so that the content is sucked onto your page. This is SEO rich content that we think really should be owned by you. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It does.
So how do we make this work from both sides of the equation? On the agent side, we've tried to make this as simple as possible. And so the dashboard for an agent is a single page. They don't have to learn any other page than this page that's about to pop up on your screen now. The first time that an agent logs into their agent dashboard, this video is open and available for them to play. And it's really just me, probably in a less low voice, walking them through all the buttons to push. But honestly, most agents never interface with this dashboard after they've set up their page. Once they've gone in
Sure.
and made certain that they've changed their photo, and again, everything happens in this pop-up window. Once they've decided how they want to display their ratings, and they have full control over that. So
Okay.
how they want that display is theirs. It doesn't mean they get to cherry pick. We're not going to delete a survey that comes from a client. But if you want
Right.
to only display the aggregate rating and you don't want to display the details, it is totally up to you. I'll tell you this, though. This is an amazing statistic. You can turn off the display of your ratings and only
Hmm.
show your testimonials. Less than 0.5% of all agents on our platform do that. So
Sure.
people just don't do it. And the vast majority, 97% of people, show detailed ratings. I, I,
Sure.
I think the end conclusion that we draw from that is that the vast majority of agents and the vast majority of transactions actually get handled very, very well. And so,
Hmm.
because we put this control into the hands of the agent on how they want this data to display on their profile page, we believe it's why we get such high adoption on the platform. Agents can
Sure.
get over their fear of soliciting detailed information because they know that they're controlling the flow of that data, and they get to understand who's exceptionally happy, who's truly a fan before they send them off to the places that will not syndicate. Zillow, Yelp, Google, Facebook, these places require that the consumer log in order to
which
share
is,
their information.
and it is such an obnoxious trait as a marketer. It's a feature that I absolutely hate
Well,
to deal with.
and we've gone out of our way to try and work with Zillow specifically to get them to accept our syndication feed, and they simply won't. And rightfully
Hmm.
so. Their business model is built on also owning a relationship with that consumer, but
Oh, of course.
it presents challenges. And so what we've done, distinctive from syndication. So I want to make this really, really clear. Syndication is truly the moment you make that link, everything that happened flows there. So realtor.com, har.com, Altos Research, all of these third-party integrations that I showed before, they're true syndications in that once the agent places their vanity key, and the agent's vanity key is always available to them right here below their photo, but it's also the last portion of the RealSatisfied URL. Once they
Okay.
place their vanity key and make the connection to, say, realtor.com, everything's going to flow automatically. And because we ask so many questions, we're the only company that can syndicate to realtor.com and actually populate every field at realtor.com based upon what NAR has mandated for them. So this flows in, showing that it's sourced by realsatisfied.com, but it is a true syndication. Once it's connected, the agent can set it and forget it.
Okay.
That's very distinct also from the publishing services. So we turn every testimonial we receive into a graphic image. We call these visual testimonials. Those visual testimonials are used to share out to social media because images get seen and shared in social media more than links. And this is
Hmm.
done on a testimonial by testimonial basis and can be done as often as you wish. So if you've gotten your first testimonial at Real Satisfied and you publish it out to Twitter and you haven't completed another transaction in a month, you can publish that testimonial back out to Twitter again because you can go through the review process and publish a second time. And I'll show you how this works in a second. All of the
Okay.
feeds and widgets that an agent needs to have access to in order to get this data onto their own websites are available here. We have a JavaScript widget for non-WordPress sites. We have the WordPress plugin that I showed you. But we also have the most powerful method, which is the RSS feed, which gives them full control over the look and feel and design. Okay? So
Hmm.
the end game is the same. We want to collect as much information as possible, and we want to deliver as much information as possible to the places that agents want those things to live. And we make every single survey invitation and response that's ever been sent on behalf of an agent available to them right here on this platform. When I say that most agents don't interface with the platform after they've set up their profile, it's because our notifications that we send to them via email contain an intelligent link that takes them directly to the place that they need to go take action from their mobile phone. So for the most part, when an agent gets a testimonial that needs to be reviewed and they click on the link in that email, they're taken directly to the place they need to go to approve that testimonial to this
That's
person.
fantastic.
Okay? They don't need to remember their login credentials. This image is sent to them in the email along with the detailed PDF of that survey. They have the ability to change the color of that testimonial before they publish out to social media. And they have the ability to say, you know what, I'm going to keep this one private. And we think this is important because even though we only ask for a testimonial from clients who are happy and say they would recommend the agent, clients
Hmm.
still say things in testimonials that an agent might not want made public, like "Thank you for reducing my commission," or
Sure.
"Thank you for leading me to the perfect family home," which might hint at a RESMA violation that never took place. And so
Right.
the end game here is to have any text that's coming from the consumer be in the control of the agent because the consumer can't understand the details of that transaction. Most of those things legally have to be made private. So we do not
Yes.
surface any comments from inside of negative surveys. They're never made public. They're only visible to brokers and agents. And the only
Okay.
text from a client that can be made public is a testimonial. So once the agent confirms that they want to make it public, they're given the option to publish out to social media. We've pre-written 55 different social media posts that we populate
Nice.
here randomly. Agents can change this. if they wish, before they publish out to
Mhm.
social media, or they can say, you know what, I don't want to do it right now. And they can always come back and review this and do it later. This ends up being really, really effective when the agent uses some context and uses their own language to post out. I think this
Mhm.
is what most people are hoping for when they publish a testimonial out to social media. Lots of likes, lots of comments. And I always use
Sure.
this one as an example because the broker for this office came in and commented on this agent's success. And I called up the broker. It was a couple of years ago, and I said, "Do you always go and comment on your agent's testimonials?" And their comment was really, really interesting to me because they said, "I would love to do that, but I don't always see their posts, even though I follow most of their."
Sure.
So we built a tool specifically for brokers that I'll show you where it lives on the back end, but that allows you to see all of the social media posts in one place that your agents make. It allows you to click on the link and go like or retweet or comment or reshare. We think it's important for brokers to engage around their agent's success. It's both a
Sure.
retention tool and a recruitment tool. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is again, this is actually live. So this is Century 21 corporate feed for all 2,300 offices. They use this to go and engage around agent success on a national level.
Sure, and that's wonderful for both the morale of the agent as well as any potential leads that come through to see that, like, oh, hey,
Absolutely.
this person is being a nod from, the uppers, and so this must be great. And that's fantastic
Absolutely.
on both sides.
Absolutely. So the next step after publishing to social media is to remind them if they haven't connected to Realtor.com to do so. You'd be surprised how many agents have not claimed their profile on Realtor.com. And then the last thing we do, and it's this one's already been claimed, but we give them the opportunity to say thanks with a coffee. And I'm going to show you a detail of this in a second because it relates to our attempt to help agents encourage reviews on these platforms where they much must sign in. So we've built a page for every returned survey with a testimonial that speaks to the consumer, and it's available to the agents via a link. And we call this encourage reviews. So where there's an encourage review available, there is a specific link, the encourage reviews link, that's available to the agent to utilize any way they see fit. If they copy and paste this link into their own email, their client will be led to this page and walked through the process of posting their testimonial onto these other platforms. So when they start through this process and click on Facebook, we show them their testimonial. We let them know that we're going to copy this testimonial into their memory for them. And once they've clicked there, we take them directly to the place that they need to go to post their review and make it easy for them. I just made it harder for myself. So we make it easy for them to, I'm clicking too soon. We, we make it easy for them, if they're not stupid like me, to go in, rate the agent, and simply hit command paste. And again, the testimonial that the agent has seen is the one that's going to show up in social media. We believe this is valuable because these are marketing efforts. I,
Hmm.
I don't I don't think anyone buys the fact that this is some way of judging agent performance. It's not. It's a marketing tool. We believe
Yes.
that the best way to approach this is to understand first and foremost who your biggest fans are and have those biggest fans be the one to go and do the things you want them to do on these other third-party platforms. And if
Hmm.
you've enabled these encourage reviews, any of these, and you send one of our say thanks with a coffee cards, we build that link automatically into the say thanks. So we found out a couple of years ago that through our own internal survey that 40% of our clients said, I never say thank you to my clients after they return a survey, which made no sense to us since
Hmm.
people say our surveys are too long. So we built a way to do it really, really easily. People can send a Starbucks card, a $5, $10. Agent chooses the amount. And when they do that, it gets delivered to the client. If they've turned on the encourage reviews, we build that encourage reviews link and some language into the say thanks with a coffee card to help lead the client to the places the agent needs them to go. Okay.
Okay. That's awesome.
All right, so that's the agent side of the equation. And again, it's really, really simple. And again, most agents don't actually interface with this once they've set it up. They may
Hmm.
come back to take a look at notifications or to see or to resend, for example, a survey invitation if their client hasn't responded. And they have full control over that. So all of these notifications that you see here, you have testimonials ready for your approval. All of those things are sent to them via email, but they're also available to you as the broker to take action on if you wish.
Okay.
And so, a couple of things, everything I'm going to do from this point forward, and this will be a little bit shorter than the last portion, so I'm not going to keep you much longer.
Okay.
You can do yourself. So I do suggest that you send yourself a survey, and you can do that right here on
Okay.
the front page of our website with this really aptly named button. Go ahead, send yourself. So just pick a seller or buyer survey or any of the other surveys you wish, and you'll get to experience it as if you were a customer of an agent. So you'll get an email from us in the exact same way that emails will be delivered to your customers. When you fill out the survey, you'll get an email as if you were the agent receiving a notification that a survey was completed. So you'll see
Okay.
both ends of that communication process. To get to your own version of this broker demo that I'm about to walk you through, just click on how it works and you'll land on the For Your Office. Scroll down to another aptly named button, check out our broker dashboard demo. Click on it and you'll be given some login credentials. And it will take you into a dashboard that is a single office where the administrator of the account is also an agent. And you'll notice that they have to manage their agent profile separately. There's certain things that only an agent has control over. Only agents control the approval of testimonials. Only agents can control what kinds of data appears on their profile. You have some
Okay.
control, obviously, over permissions and certain information that appears on their profile pages, but only agents can do that. And so you manage your agent profile separate from the broker profile. This
Okay.
dashboard is designed to present some information very, very quickly. It presents the national average for satisfaction, recommendation, performance, and testimonials, the company, the office, and the agent, if this is an agent. But it also provides a leaderboard view into the individuals and
Okay.
some data that is only available to brokers.
Sure.
Return rate, testimonial return rate, for example, are what I like to call canary in the coal mine kind of data. If you've
Hmm.
got an agent who's considerably lower in their return rate and their testimonial return rate than the office average and your best agents, something's wrong. They're either not
Sure.
communicating with the client properly during the transaction. It's a signal of apathy. So
Hmm.
the goal here is to provide information and tools to brokers that allow them to help train their agents and understand who's performing best and what best practices are. That is also carried over into the kinds of reports that we build on the back end of all of these surveys. And some of these reports have nothing to do with customer satisfaction. Things like
Hmm.
factors of influence. What is causing people to choose your agents? What you'll find is that broker commission almost always ends up being the lowest rated, the lowest reason why somebody chooses. The
Hmm.
ability to go into meetings with your own data and say, people are telling us that the most important thing to them is our sales record in this area. If you're not using that kind of content in social media, we're missing the opportunity to connect with our customers, for example.
Hmm.
So the entire goal of all of these reports, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's over 80 different reports that you can run on the back end of this data, is to give you business intelligence that helps you make better decisions about your business. And so the same thing is true relative to how we display everything else. I mentioned the social activity dashboard. We flow the last 5 social posts in here, but because this data is sensitive, you may have people in your office or on your team who you want to engage with agent success, but who you don't want to have access to this sensitive data. And so we've made this
Hmm.
a public link that you can share with anyone in your office you wish so that they can take action around these comments as well. Okay.
Okay.
The admin area is going to be pretty straightforward. You obviously have control over office details and information. You have the ability to add and deactivate team members at your will. Adding a team member is simple. You can simply go in, create an email greeting, full name, fill out all the details. And then this is the default for agents on our platform. We believe that the best practice, and it's certainly indicated by return rates and adoption rates, is
Mm-hmm.
for the broker to trigger the sending of the surveys on behalf of agents. What we know is that agents left on their own simply won't trigger the surveys. So by
Okay.
default, agents can't administer the broker dashboard. They can't create their own invitations. They can only see their own responses, and they don't have administration access only. They're truly there, and so all of this ends up being set by you. But if you wanted
Okay.
to set somebody up as an administrator, you can do that. You can simply say, I want them to be able to create invitations. I want them to see all of the data. They're not an agent, so I want them to only have administration access, meaning they won't have a public facing profile. And I want this person to be a customer escalation contact. So what is a customer escalation contact? There's three ways our surveys end. The first way is customers happy, they'd recommend the agent, we collect a testimonial. Second way is they're happy, they wouldn't necessarily recommend the agent, so we just say thank you. We're not going to try and collect a testimonial for somebody who's lukewarm. But
Mm-hmm.
the third way that the survey can end is if it's clear they did not have a good experience or something's wrong. The final question that gets asked on the survey is, would you like someone from the brokerage to call you about your experience in this transaction? When they say yes, we collect some more details, we collect a phone number, and an email is sent to everyone who's marked as a customer escalation contact with
Okay.
a button that lets us know whether or not you actually contacted the client. And that email will go to every customer relation contact until somebody tells us they called that client. Because
That's amazing.
the last thing we want is for somebody who's unhappy not to get the call that they requested. And so again, you have full control over this. You have the ability to go in and deactivate an agent anytime you wish. They're never really deleted. Deactivated team members show up here and allow you to activate them again if you choose. So you have full control over every aspect of what's taking place here. Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. Let me get rid of these notifications here. And what else can I show you? I really invite you to walk through this broker demo yourself. We do have a page that will help you from an onboarding standpoint. If you go to learning.realsatisfied.com, you'll notice that there is a broker and office training segment here. On this
Okay.
page, you're going to find a video that will walk you in a little bit more detail, but in shorter turn through the broker dashboard and show you all the various aspects of it. In addition,
Okay.
providing you access to other broker video tutorials. Okay.
Fantastic.
All of the details around what it takes to launch your office are available here. And launching your office, we've tried to be as creative as possible in helping you understand what the best practices are in holding kickoff meetings and explaining why you've chosen RealSatisfied. We've given you templates to use in listing presentations to help consumers understand what's going to be happening at the close of a transaction, and all of that should end up putting you at that very top end of the return rates that we'd like to see most of our brokers at.
Awesome. This looks like a fantastically simple and concise program. I'm really excited to get to know it better.
Well, awesome. I'm glad we had this opportunity to have a chat.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for your time, Jeff. I will definitely be playing with this as soon as we finish up here.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and feel better and have a great day.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.